Baby, ngicela kiss izandiphuze, ngicela kiss izanono, isonona ukuthanda umuntu wakho, isonona baby ndiyabuza, hayi xa kunjalo kushuthi ngizawucela uxolo. Izamasithandane sibuqane kumothuli, baby ngicela kiss izandiphuze, ngicela kiss izanono, ndikufuna la eduze kwami, baby ngicela kiss izandiphuze. Ooh, yeah. Lidalana ukuthanda umuntu wakho, lidalana baby ndiyabuza, hayi xa kunjalo kushuthi ngizawufela etrongweni. Izamasithandane sibuqane kumothuli, yesana ndiyadideka ndiyaloka, nyanyana ngowami ungathandi khulelwa, inhliziyo yami uyayikhanyisa, ikhanye ithi qini. Baby ngicela kiss izandiphuze, ngicela kiss izanono, ndikufuna la eduze kwami, baby ngicela kiss izandiphuze.
The beauty of African music is that it tells tales we have lived, and it gives us hope when we've lost our loved ones, when we've gone through heartbreaks or just lost our jobs. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Pink and Purple. My name is Tembi Pida. Today on the show, we have multi-award-winning, gold-selling soul singer Berita. Welcome to the show, sis.
Hello.
How are you?
I am well.
It's lovely to have you on Pink and Purple. Would you
Thank
like to tell us who is Berita?
I'm a singer, songwriter, guitarist. Originally, ngizalelwe khona pha koBulawayo. Ngiphuma khona pha. Ngikhulele eNketa 6. I won't even mention the schools I went to because I went to too many schools.
Okay.
But at the heart of it all, I'm a singer, songwriter. I write songs and I sing them.
Okay, take us through your music journey. What inspired you to start music, Afro soul?
Growing up, I loved listening to the radio. And that was, I think, in the early 2000s. So if you were listening to radio at the time, you would hear a lot of Oliver Mtukudzi, Chioniso, Andy Brown. Because, you know, what I loved about growing up in Zim is that our radio stations play a lot of Zimbabwean music. And then I also at the time used to listen to Omaskiri, which was like
Urban
grooves, which was big at the time. So I remember always tuning into radio just to check which song today is at the top. And I was always fascinated by that, but I never really thought that that was going to be my life in any way. I also sang in the choir in Konzweni, but if I never really thought I'm going to be a musician. I just loved music.
Okay, and you moved to South Africa. Was it because of music or school? You could have done music here, I'm sure, since you said Kulele Nketa and all that.
Yeah. So for me, what really happened is when I was 16, abazali bami moved to New Zealand to work as dairy farmers. And like many of us, like I were displaced. I'm sure everyone has a family member that lives either in South Africa or the UK or America. So abazali bami got the opportunity and they could take the whole family. So when I was 16, we moved to New Zealand. We spent 3 years there. And then in my late teens, I then moved to South Africa to study tertiary, but secretly to pursue music.
Oh, okay, that's lovely. And how is it like being in a foreign land? Do you face any, she's Zimbabwean, type of, I don't know if we should know, it's not racism, that
that prejudice?
Yes.
Well, I haven't lived home from when I was 16 years old. It is natural that when you're in a new place, I remember when I used to live in New Zealand, people would be like, where are you from? It's natural. And back then, we used to get offended. We're like, why are you saying, where am I from?
Yes.
Is it clear that I'm not from here?
Yeah.
But Sengimdala, I realized even if you're here, someone will ask, where are you from? And you say, oh, ngiwaseSigodini,
Yeah.
ekhaya, kungaphi ngaphi, yabo? So I think more than anything, going to New Zealand at a young age made me realize ukuthi thina as abantu abamnyama, we're marginalized around the world.
Right.
People don't know enough about our cultures and our heritage. And we also don't do enough to express ourselves.
Right.
We're quick to take on their culture.
Yeah, to adapt.
You know? And then when I moved to South Africa, 1, to study, 2, I'd grown up listening to Brenda Fassie, Bongo Muffin.
Right.
You know, it's no secret that, especially in the Matabele land, anything that is musical that comes from South Africa is automatically welcomed here. So when I moved to school, the only prejudice, especially when I was in varsity, was that Tina, we're too clever.
Too sharp.
Too sharp, like,
Right.
because all the students that came from Zim are the ones that are at the top of, you know, the class, which I also was.
Yeah.
But when it comes to getting into the music industry, I think the only difference is a cultural difference. I tend to find that like our Zimbabwean culture or our Ndebele culture or other tribes like the Shona culture is very more reserved, more respectful. So a lot of people, the South African culture is much more outward, you know, rightfully, because the South African struggle and the Zimbabwean struggle is different.
Right. Would you like to tell us more about that if after we take a short break? I think there's a whole lot to it that we would like to know, the cultures now that you've mentioned. Viewers, we'll take a short break. You're watching Pink and Purple. Welcome back to Pink and Purple. I'm here with Berita. You were still telling us about culture before we went on the break.
Yes, so what I've begun to notice, I've lived in South Africa now for 7 years. One, it's very I don't know if there's a word like multi-tribal.
Yeah.
But each tribe is very expressive. And the way that, you know, the setup is, people express their cultures.
Right.
Whereas Tina Lapa siyafihla.
Yeah, we're not so proud of.
Even mabe ngibuza ngalo ukuthi, so tell us, Lina is Amandebele, what do you do? You know, it's just been very difficult for me because Tina, we've always been abantu abafihlayo, but you know, it's something that through music, and remember the Nguni people are all the same, the Ndebele, the Zulu, the Xhosa, the Swati. So, you know, that's what I've kind of begun to understand and keep to that.
Okay. Yeah. And you sing a lot of Xhosa, or all your songs are Xhosa. Talking about culture and tribe, is it because you relate more to the Xhosa people? Why do you sing in Xhosa instead of Ndebele?
So for me, actually, when I started writing songs, they were all in English. Remember, I left here when I was 16. And then I moved to South Africa, to the Eastern Cape, Emaxhoseni, when I was 19. So, and the school that I went to, abantwana bakhona baphuma endaweni okuthiwa kuseTranskei, which is deep Emaxhoseni. So they, like, I literally got to the school and they wouldn't speak to me in English. They spoke to me in Xhosa. So what I realized at the time is that my songs, I started translating songs from English to Xhosa. And I found that Xhosa and Ndebele is a little bit similar.
Yeah.
So I think it was naturally I started to sing more in Xhosa. And interestingly, I express myself better. And I don't think it's a matter of preference. I do have songs in Ndebele. And I also have songs, I have a song in Shona. I also have 2 songs in Swahili. My plan is to actually sing in many different African languages like Miriam Makeba used to do.
Yes, okay. And
Yeah.
what inspires your music? What do you write from a point of experience, of entertainment, just to give people music? What inspires your writing?
Well, most of my writing is inspired by my own personal struggles and triumphs in life. And sometimes I do want to entertain people, especially with my latest single, Ndicela Kiss.
Yes.
I knew that was going to just get people excited because, you know, it's life. There's the good and there's the bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Uthando Lwethu.
Yes.
You know, was it because you went through a heartbreak, or
Uthando Lwethu is
Uthando Lwethu is
a very
intimate.
special song.
Yeah.
One of the first songs I wrote for my first album, I wrote that with a friend of mine who was going through a terrible heartbreak.
Okay.
And I was just able to, because I sing and I produce, so I had the melody and I was singing something, but it would have been a happy song. I remember Kaleni, the Wayo Pulling Nhliziyo Yami, or was Wayo Nwabisa, which means you made me happy.
Okay.
So it was all about telling that story of a friend and bringing it to life.
All right, interesting. And what's your comment on Zimbabwean music and musicians? What would you do differently if you were a musician in Zimbabwe?
In Zimbabwe. I think for Zimbabwean music, people know that Zimbabwean music is amazing. We have some of the greatest musicians.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure and opportunity to work with Baba Oliver Mtukudzi a lot. And I've traveled with many musicians. I've traveled to many lands across Africa. I've never met a musician that is as respected as Baba Oliver Mtukudzi. I think the only difference is that obviously there's the music side of things, and of course there's the economy side of things. So from an economic point of view, South Africa definitely is the entertainment economical capital, but I don't think it has anything to do with Zimbabwean music being any less superior.
uzomshandisa
Fana omuhle igama lakhe dando lwethu benimthanda endithanda sasingohlulwa
So I've always wanted to do shows ekhaya, but the problem will always be promoters sometimes cannot afford my fee, or even if they can afford my fee, they cannot afford to fly me. Or mhlambe labantu bethu, they are not used to, my music is soul music, so you sit and you listen, abantu bethu bafuna ukujive, you know. So I've never really had a situation where I found the perfect fit for my music. But as of last year, I took a decision, ukuthi I must play a show ekhaya every year, whether someone is booking me or not. And also I want, because growing up, my parents went to go watch Soul Brothers. They went to go watch different shows. So I want to bring that culture back. And doing the show and making it a free show was important for me because I know ekhaya is as lula. And music is not something that is limited. You have to have money to listen to music. So I just wanted to bring people together, and enjoy music. My music is going to be available for sale. There's going to be t-shirts. There's many other ways to support the craft, rather than just buying a ticket for this show.
We've seen a lot of South African musicians facing depression, hence leading to suicide, right? What's your comment on that?
Depression is mental illness. For me, I come from a family where my little sister, the one that follows right after me, has struggled with bipolar for 10 years. It's something when we lived overseas, and at first we were shocked as a family because sikhule, I remember when I was young, ngisafunde esikoleni ukhona omnye usisi owayezijikela phansi, and we used to say, oh, she's crazy, because we didn't understand mental illness.
Yeah.
When it happened in the family, nxa sesibona umntwana wankhaya ekwenza, we were surprised. But over the years, you know, I've come to realize it's an illness, it's a disease, just like any. And those people deserve respect and they deserve dignity. And it also happens to any of us. It can happen after you give birth. It can happen after you suffer a disappointment, maybe uthembe something. So it's something that as society, I think, not just musicians, we need to be talking about more, and we need to be supporting each other.
All right. Okay. And your last words, Berita, as we round up the show, to your viewers, to whoever's listening right now.
My last words are always of gratitude. I am very thankful, ngiyabonga kakhulu, to everyone who's supporting me. I know ukuthi I get a lot of messages on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to say, oh, we are happy. I get a lot of people in the diaspora as well that love the music. I just want to say, follow your dreams. I'm following my dreams,
Yes,
and thank you so much for the support.
Lovely. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's been lovely having you.
Thank you.
Viewers, thank you for watching Pink and Purple. From me, Tempi Pida, and the crew behind the scenes. It's goodbye.
Sandwa sami nana wami iza ndikuhlebele inhliziyo yami yakho uyonwabisile talent is your yami awuzange wandikhohlisa endimthandayo awuzange wandilibazisa standwa sami thatha naluthando lwami ngolwakho khululeka hamba nami ndawo zonke ndingowakho baby wami muntu wami andifuni nova ngawe akho ndaba endingenonyuka akho mlambo endingenowela ukuthi ndonelise inhliziyo yakho